Still waiting in line? Again? That's time you'll never get back. Save time and money with Stamps.com. Over 4 million businesses have skipped the line with Stamps.com. Join them to save up to 90% off carrier rates from your computer or phone right now. Print postage for certified mail, registered mail, and packages in seconds. Then schedule a pickup right from your home or office. For a limited time, go to Stamps.com and use code PODCAST for a free welcome gift. Taxes and fees apply.
Welcome to a special series of Art Pays Me interviews with the winners of the 2025 Creative Nova Scotia Awards. Presented annually by Arts Nova Scotia and the Creative Nova Scotia Leadership Council, these awards celebrate artistic excellence across McMahon. Award categories are as follows: Creative Community Impact, Prix Grand Prix, Established Artist, Emerging Artist, Black Artist, Indigenous Artist, and finally, the Portia White Prize, that is given to a person who has made outstanding and significant contributions to Nova Scotia's creative community over a sustained career, much like the incredible woman that the award is named after. The winner will also choose a protege, an emerging artist or cultural organization that will also receive funding. Collectively, the awards are worth $75,000. Visit artsns.ca to nominate your favorite Nova Scotian artist or nominate yourself. This series would not be possible without the fantastic production work of Heist and Kiki Beats.
Okay, thank you for welcoming us into your space.
Of course.
But before we get into everything, I have to ask a question that we ask. Well, I guess it's a set of questions. It's where are you based?
Yeah.
And what is your name? What are your pronouns? And what is your artistic discipline?
My name is Leah Johnston, she, her. I am based in Halifax, Nova Scotia, and I am a filmmaker.
Sweet. Filmmakers are amazing to me. I honestly feel like it's the highest art form. I might take that back one day, but lately it's been in my mind.
Take it back when you talk to the other artists. Don't tell them that.
So, is there a person, place, or event that sort of let you down this artistic path?
There were a lot of different things that brought me on the path to filmmaking. So I initially started, I was like a child actor, singer, and an actor, and I was doing, plays like locally. I did, Neptune Theater growing up.
Yeah.
I did like the Charlottetown Festival, Anne of Green Gables there. And I went to university for musical theater. And basically, immediately upon graduating, I had vocal issues, and I had a vocal surgery for my voice. So my singing career ended very abruptly. And around that time, I was gifted a DSLR camera for my birthday. And I started experimenting with photography. At the time, I had a sense of Photoshop. And so I started doing kind of these elaborate self-portraits where they were composites of like me flying or things like that. So I really started to understand just sort of the visual language of storytelling through photography. And then a few years later, the DSLR cameras came out with a video function,
Right.
and people started making short films on DSLR cameras. So it occurred to me like, hey, instead of just acting or auditioning for things, I could maybe make a film and cast myself in one of them. So that actually started me on the path. And, I don't usually put myself in my films. I have a few times, but that was sort of the initial impetus to start making movies.
Oh man, this is like the old. A lot of hip hop producers kind of started like this, and I guess in a lot of ways, it's like they want to work with a rapper, but they can't, or they want to rap, so they make their own beats, and then they get on the song themselves, and it's very interesting how that happens.
Yeah.
Is there an artistic project of yours that holds particular significance?
Well, they all do. All my films are my babies. I would say my first sort of professional short film that I made in 2014 called Some Things Won't Sleep was a big pivot point for me. I think it was really amazing to have the resources and the funds to like have a professional crew, and it was just such a trip for me to be like, this was something that I came up with in a room by myself, and all this entire crew and all these actors are here, you know, helping me actualize my vision.
Yeah.
That was a really amazing moment. Like, we did a scene where we were in the forest and there was like fog machines and like, like all these big lights, and I just remember it being, yeah, just sort of an incredible moment to see all these people gathered around and all these resources to create this thing that I had imagined in my mind.
Yeah. So where do you find inspiration? Like where do the seeds of your ideas sort of sprout from?
Well, they can come from anywhere. Usually there's something kind of going on within me
Yeah.
that I'm thinking about or trying to explore. I mean, I wish I could say, like, inspiration just, like, hits me, and like, my partner's a filmmaker, and he comes up with film ideas, like, all the time, and I'm like, "I haven't come up with an idea in 2 years." But usually when I, decide I'm gonna make a film, I kinda just, um, sit alone in a room for a few days and just sort of think about ideas or, concepts that issues that have been bothering me, and I kinda just start brainstorming. And I think just by being sort of open and waiting for an idea to come and like there being some intentionality around that,
Yeah.
I've never been disappointed. Like there'll always eventually something will come, and yeah, it's usually starts somewhere from within me.
So you don't feel this like disappointment or pressure or people call it the writer's block thing that's not a thing for you necessarily or
I don't know what like writer's block really is, because there's so many reasons to be blocked, or like, and there's so many different issues that could factor into not being able to write.
yeah.
Um, but I mean, there can be a paralysis around like coming up with an idea for sure.
Yeah.
And I think it's just about sticking with it, and like it's almost an act of faith, It's just like you need to sort of go to the well and keep dropping the bucket in and hope that you'll pull up water eventually. And
Yeah.
I think the longer you just kind of stick with it and keep asking, asking for an idea, hoping for an idea, looking for an idea, like eventually you'll find something. And sometimes it's a matter of like one idea isn't quite enough and it needs to kind of merge with another idea you had months before, and then it's
Yeah.
like, ah, this
That's
makes
the magic.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
those things that there's something there, but it's not quite there.
exactly. Like the film that I'm doing next, I had this idea for a character that was a shopping addict,
Yeah.
an out of control shopping addict. And then I heard a story while I was sort of brainstorming around that idea. There was a neighbor of ours who basically they were married. They had this big, beautiful house, and the partner had committed financial infidelity. So he had been spending all this money that she didn't know about, the husband,
Mhm.
and they lost their house. And so I thought, oh, a shopping addict that is, shopping so much that maybe she is losing her house is going into
Yeah,
foreclosure,
right.
she's hiding it from her partner, like, that became not to I probably shouldn't put that in the film, but in this interview, but that became the genesis of my next project, those 2 sort of seeds of an idea, like, marrying.
Right, right. I love that. I love that. So decades, even centuries from now, people looking back and the work that you've done, what would you like them to say about it?
My god. If anyone remembers my work, even in decades from now, like, that would be just like, that would be incredible in and of itself. I don't have anything particular I want people to take away. I mean, I am always hopeful that people will have an emotional response to the work, but also maybe, it'll leave them with something to think about or chew on. And like I said, if somebody is watching, my work in 10, 20 years, like that alone is an accomplishment in my mind because most artworks don't survive that long.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So outside of the materials that are directly involved in your production and all of that stuff, like what are sort of things that you just can't live without in your environment when you're creating?
I think just like quietude.
Ah,
I think the main thing you need is just the time to contemplate
yeah.
and sit alone and come up with an idea to work on it. Working on a script, I mean, to really get it sort of singing, and for the structure um, to really be solid and working and to feel like you're watching it and you want to know what's happening next and the audience to keep the audience engaged. Like that's a lot of work. That can be years of work. And so just having the space, the solitude to do that work and sit by yourself and not be distracted in today's society, that's a tall order actually. So that's definitely I think the most important thing to
So selfishly, I have two questions,
yeah.
and then we can let you get back to it. You mentioned living in LA, and you said something that was interesting to me. You said that it was easier to make films in Canada than it is in Los Angeles. Why is that?
Well, we're really lucky in Canada because we do have government institutions that um, foster culture. They foster art,
Yep.
and they, will invest even just small amounts of money into film projects. Into, we have like Nova Scotia Arts Council or Arts Nova Scotia rather,
Yep.
Canada Council for the Arts. On a more industry level for filmmakers, there's Telefilm. There's Canadian Media Fund for television. So these funds, are supported by the government, and they, are intended to foster culture in Canada. And so it's possible to actually get a budget to make a movie, rather than in the U.S. You're kind of I don't even know how people make movies. Like you kind of are hoping that, some rich person wants to invest in your movie idea. And I know a lot of filmmakers are just working sort of Joe jobs, trying to save enough money to make their work. And they're
Yeah.
basically, waitressing or um, driving Uber, whatever they can do, that will allow them the time to make art, and then they have to invest their own money. So
Right.
it can be a real struggle. And I saw that, I did that. My very first short film, we did it for like, $500, I think is what I spent, and
Mhm.
it was my DSLR camera and my friends, and I think some of the shots like. It was literally just the tripod set up, and I walked in front of the camera and acted, and then like turned off the camera. Like it was that sort of uh yeah, it was that sort of low key. So yeah, just to be able to have like be able to apply for a grant to
Yeah.
make a film is just such a gift. Yeah, and so I feel really lucky to be Canadian and to be able to make work in the
Sweet.
country. Yeah.
Last question. As someone who has myself been interested in filmmaking and saying someday I want to make a film.
Hmm.
I've been working on film sets in different capacities lately,
Yeah.
and I just looked around and was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
I got overwhelmed. How do you, as the person that's directing everything and keeping things together, how do you prevent yourself from getting overwhelmed?
Well, I would say like being on a crew is one of the most grueling things you can do. I have such admiration for crews that go from show to show. Like their hours are so long. It really is a tough lifestyle to sustain. And there's been a lot of movement, I think, in the industry to, you know, pull back on hours, like working overtime and stuff. It can be really dangerous. I just like, as a director, a writer-director, a lot of my time is spent writing and developing the project. So I'll have many projects in different phases of development. I'm not on set that often.
Okay.
Just with the kind of work I do, I'll make a film maybe once a year,
Yeah.
once every 2 years. So I would say, like, during that time, it's like going to war, you're flat out, you're working those crazy hours, and you're even working longer than crew because then you're
Sure.
planning the next day when you wrap. But I'm very lucky that I get to stop and then I go sleep for a while and then we start editing and then, you're releasing the film and promoting it. So,
Right.
my answer to that is that I just don't do it that often.
Uh-huh. But like
Yeah.
conceptually, you're the person that's saying, okay, so they're going to be in a cafe.
Yeah.
And then, after that, it's kind of left to everyone else to figure out where that cafe is and all that kind of stuff. Or do you feel
Oh,
like you have to
no.
be in there too?
Oh, like, my hands are on
Oh,
most
okay.
decisions. Like, if I'm making a film, I feel like the locations are almost like characters. Like, I'm taking a lot of care usually to figure out sort of those like hero locations that are like the main things. And I think like the thing that I stress about a lot or take a lot of time with in like pre-production is finding those lead actors. Like, I'll search the world to find my last film. I think we auditioned like 200 kids for the main role in 2 different provinces. And then the main house that we shot in, I looked for that for months and months.
Right.
It had to be like a house sort of that was on the ocean and felt like it was the movie was based in the 1970s. So it needed to feel like Newfoundland, 1970s. And so to find that house took a lot of time. So those are the decisions. I feel like once you know your sort of locations and your actor and you have your script, like it's almost like, you can mess up so many things, but if
Yes.
you have like a really amazing actors, a really great location, some of those key people helping you in those main crew positions, like you're good.
Yeah,
I think
that
you can
strong
mess up a
core.
lot, yeah,
Okay.
but those things will sustain you, I find.
How does it feel to receive an award like this?
It feels amazing. It's really an honor, especially to be recognized in my home province.
Yes.
Um, I grew up here in Nova Scotia. I've spent the majority of my artistic career being here. It's such an incredible hub filled with so many incredible artists,
Yeah.
such a great community, very supportive community that has nurtured me over the years. So to be recognized here in particular really means a lot. And yeah, I know there's a lot of wonderful artists here. So, this career is a lot of hard work. And anytime, you receive a special recognition like this, it really means a lot.
That was great. Well, thank you again for welcoming us into your space and
Thank
congratulations on your award.
you. I'm so honored.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Art Pays Me. Hit me up on socials at Art Pays Me pretty much everywhere. And let me know what you think. I love connecting with listeners. If you're an artist looking for clothes that celebrate who we are as professional creative people, check out artpaysme.com. And don't forget, visit artsns.ca for more information about the Creative Nova Scotia Awards. Peace.
Summer is here. At Orderly Meds, we know this time is a reminder that life is full of new beginnings. Whether you're celebrating the nice weather, starting a new chapter, planning a vacation, or simply looking ahead to what's next, this season can be the perfect time to invest in yourself and your health. If you've struggled with weight loss and are curious about GLP-1 medications, Orderly Meds can help you learn about your options. Through a simple virtual process, you can connect with licensed medical professionals who can determine whether treatment may be appropriate for you. Getting started is fast, convenient, and happens online from the comfort of home. This summer, consider a new approach to feeling your best. Visit orderlymeds.com/podcast to learn more. That's orderlymeds.com/podcast. orderlymeds.com/podcast. Because every new season is an opportunity to take the next step forward. Compounded medications are not FDA approved. Eligibility required and determined by a licensed provider. Individual results may vary. See website for details.